Challenge!
Episode 193 of View from 202. 7 undefeated. What's the tune? 7 undefeated. 7 I say. It's the same four of us. Brit, Cork, Sam, and Peaches. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Always feels nice to win a derby match.
Oh, expected.
Yeah, I'm still on the high.
Never in doubt, as we like to say.
On brand. We missed the goal.
Oh yeah,
all three of you.
Yeah.
Well, we organically just ran into each other on the train. It was actually sort of serendipitous, and then Sam and I had, like, I don't know about you when you split off, but we had like perfect train luck on the way back too.
Yeah.
We had some train blessings. Beside the fact that we're like, I think literally all 2,000 people on our train were going to the game, and we were all late because it just crawled between Journalist Square.
Yeah, it
and
happened on that on
Well,
my
there
train.
was, like,
it happened on that on my train, but I was on time. So.
Yeah, you were like 4 hours early to get all your prawn sandwiches.
That's right.
No, the fire alarm went off at the PATH station.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Never heard that. It was pretty weird.
I thought that's not even why the train was late though, which is annoying. But
There was like a fight going on or
the
something?
the announcements in me like said an altercation or something. I don't know why the
City
alarm
fans got too drunk too soon.
would go off down at the platform level, but
It might just be a whole like station thing. I don't know. But like
this is what you get when you have a train station managed by a mall company.
as
By which I mean the Port Authority.
as Sam was saying, when we got off the train, like I heard cheers like coming from the stadium immediately as we're like walking through the parking lot. It's like, oh, I really hope we scored, and you guys are like, there's no way, and it turned out that we had scored.
No, we looked through the slit.
Yeah,
because we were just in the new parking lot that is where the warehouse used to be, so you could see, depending on where you're walking, through the slit between the roof and the building, so we could kind of see the screen, and I saw the word goal go across, and I was like, oh, all right, I don't think we do that when the away team scores. And then I saw most of the clip had like white and red shorts running around. I was like, okay, probably means we scored. And then foot mob hit. Also, the crowd, the cheer was loud enough where it was definitely us and not City.
yeah.
And it was loud enough where it probably wasn't like a near miss, Mm-hmm. So, because I guess there are really very few City fans out, like on the train. And then when we got in, I feel like compared to the first game of the year, City fans were really only in the away section. Like nobody was just coming out and sitting in the general audience. And why would you if you're a City fan? They're 8. Well, actually, I don't know how many midweek games they've got, but they haven't won a game in since at least when
The one before they played us
they haven't
the first
scored
time.
since that first derby in Harrison.
Wow.
That fact comes courtesy of the legend, the greatest Tina Servasio, by the way.
Let's go, Tina.
Queen.
Coverage has never been the same ever since Tina left. That's a fact. Think about it, and it's a fact.
Not untrue.
Yeah. But yeah, that's and as I said to Pat when we got the arena, most importantly, nothing is ever my fault. So that's why it's okay that we missed the goal. But
I didn't bring the cup this week.
oh yeah, I didn't even remember to ask.
Have you brought a cup? Have you brought the cup to any of the last 7 wins?
The one before this game, I brought the cup.
Okay.
It pains me to say it, but I think we have enough data to rule that the cup is inconclusive. I think
I know, but I didn't want to risk it for this game.
Fair enough.
Like
I mean, I think this is to his credit. Gerhard Struver has overcome the cup.
yes.
He has surpassed the powers or any powers that were once present in the cup. And
He now only reveres squirrels.
And Gerhard Struber is about cans, specifically yellow cans. Yellow cans of Red Bull. Did you think I meant another kind of cans? Oh, naughty. We're turning into a 70s camp British television show.
Now let's-
Naughty. Anyway, what was the goal like then from your
describe
beautiful
to us.
Yeah,
perch?
do I have to explain the
They're
I
the
mean,
only
we,
ones who saw it with their own
we can
eyes.
explain it, but like, I don't know. What was the run of play like? It was only 3 minutes in, right? Like, set the scene for us.
I mean, yeah, it was like the second minute, and Caceres just kind of did a very Caceres run, where which he's kind of prone to do in the lineup that the team has been rolling out the last few weeks, where he and Omir are kind of the lead midfielders behind whoever is playing up top. And again, very Caceres style run where he really is always kind of on the brink of losing control. He doesn't really look like smooth. He can't really carry the ball, with a traditional kind of dribbling gait, and he's basically just kind of chopping around to get around guys who are closing him down. And at one point, it was Callens, I think, who literally knocked him on his ass. But in a very characteristically Caceres way, he just picked himself up. He's still kind of like crabbed over the ball when that happened, and picked himself up and just kept rumbling and bumbling up the kind of right channel, and then eventually got hacked down again, just keeping the ball close to him. And then on the ensuing free kick, it was funny because I guess on the ESPN broadcast, John Champion and Taylor Twellman were saying like, Fabio, it's Fabio, because he was running at the back post, but it was actually Reyes who knocked the ball down that Sean Davis played in, and then right at that opposite post was Caceres to just kind of slide and put it in, and you guys kind of heard the vibes as you were rolling in from there.
It's a very sharp cheer that we heard.
To their, I don't know, credit, I guess, they're national broadcasters, so they've got other jobs, but that is a great tell that they haven't been watching the Red Bulls much when you're looking at Fabio and it's like, oh, that guy's the target. Man, Fabio's not going to win a header there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I love Fabio and I want us to keep him, but that's not what he's going to do. Reyes, though, for sure. I'm actually surprised.
Reyes should be talked about more, but,
tried
both locally and nationally. Yeah.
We haven't tried that basic sort of knock on set. I mean, maybe we have tried and we've just really not delivered the first ball adequately, but I'm really surprised that we haven't gotten closer to that style of goal where we knock it across and knock it in just like Caceres did after the initial head on. I mean, I think we've tried to like flick the ball on to the back post more often, maybe especially in corners, but yeah, let's keep doing that. Let's keep targeting Reyes down there now that he's healthy, and maybe Fabio is in a way providing some help in distracting
That's
the
true.
defense. It's like when Dax used to score all those set piece headers. It's because he was facing up against the 4th, 5th, 6th best marker, and
somebody was knocking it over to him.
Yeah, so maybe if Fabio's taking up the first, second, or third best man marker, that's gonna free up Reyes or Nealis or whoever.
I think a big story of this game in general was how dominant this team is in the air in kind of all parts of the field. I mean, even Fabio, with what we're saying where it's not always clean, I mean, he's always causing problems, and but especially in the back. I mean, when City was forced to, and I mean, this is kind of like a, central element of the Red Bull style, the pressing style, is that when the other team can't play through the middle, when the other team can't build up with any cleanliness, they have to hit it long. And when you have Reyes and Nealis and even Gutman, who's very, enthusiastic in the air, they just handled everything.
Was it Struber or Deila or both who remarked on that in the presser? Who
Struber.
Deila mentioned in the midweek presser, in the City midweek presser, that it's impossible for any team in the league to play. His quote was, "It's impossible for any team in the league to play good football against RBNY." And then
Pete Weber, that's right, gif.
Yeah, exactly. And then Struber, was asked about it in his press conference, and he said, like, "Yeah, that's cool. I'm good with that."
Well, didn't
He's
he
like,
say,
"Oh, he said that? That's nice.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to say something that's nice about him."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He said something along the lines of, like they hate playing long balls for NYCFC.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, he said that post game, but
Struber said that about City.
Yeah. And then I didn't, because I tweet the press conferences, but I kind of left this one alone because I wasn't sure if he was trying to say it as an insult or whatever. But Struber even said, like, yes, City was forced to play long balls, and their players like Maxi Morales, they don't like that. It's like awesome. So. But no, I mean, to get serious again for a moment, I mean, I thought the fact that we just can, handle literally anything in the air adds so much confidence to the rest of the game, and it was really on display in this game more than I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Jeremiah, Twitter user Jeremiah, I think his handle is Red Coach J, had a good observation about that too, where he pointed out that specifically City, when they gave up on build up and they played long, they never tried to beat us on the ground or over the top. They insisted on playing balls right at head level, and Reyes and Nealis ate it up all day. And I was like, damn, that is so true. What a bizarre choice by them. Like,
they weren't like diagonals or anything.
No.
Like, yeah. Like,
Well, I was gonna say about the set piece goal too. Like you're saying, that this run across and like getting the ball there. I think it especially works on teams who just don't give a shit, like City don't.
I'm thinking of that classic Pirlo clip.
I'm just standing at the post.
Yeah.
But like, you got that vibe too, right? City don't give a fuck. Like their team
They
doesn't care.
They seemed like I before the game, during the game, just they look like complete strangers.
Yeah.
Like they never talk to each other.
They just look miserable.
Yeah, like when they were warming up, like certain
Do they
guys
even like high five each other when they
That's
come
what I mean.
off?
Like when I was watching them warm up, there were certain guys who were trying to do like clap, like, "Come on, guys, let's speed up," and just zero response. Like, just very weird vibes.
I kept looking over every once in a while at Morales, and he was just like chirping at his own teammates at certain points.
He's got to be starting to check out, right? I mean,
he's old.
He's getting to his
like
fine.
34, 35, right?
I'm surprised how fit he stayed. I thought he might. I guess he had an injury last year, right, or maybe the year before.
Yeah,
but I'm surprised that he bounced back from it, seemingly. But he's getting probably near the end of his contract, probably near the end of his window, and he's also gone through a couple of their like projects, so to speak. And now to be sitting here, spinning the wheels a bit, I bet he might be a little frustrated.
Yeah, nothing doesn't seem like anything's clicking.
But then it's like, it seems like they don't have a strong sense of like what they're playing for. Because if you're Alex Callens and you're like kind of at the peak of your career, you're starting for your country, for Peru, pretty decent, mid-major level selection. And then you're just kind of playing at Yankee Stadium and just going through the motions with a bunch of random $8 million 18-year-olds who actually suck. Like, I don't know. What's the point? And you actually don't really get to play at your home stadium that often. All your fans are douchebags. Like what's like, it really shows that the second anything goes wrong, they're like, yeah, fuck it. Whatever.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna say about the long balls, like in that strategy, like that might have worked against us when someone like Tom Edwards was a center back, because I can remember at least a couple games where we gave up we lost a 50-50 like in the air, and Tom was defending, and he's just shorter. Like he does a great job, and called upon in that role. But I think Gutman's really stepped up when he has to play in that like 3-man back line. But like maybe the rationale was looking at that, and that was a different time. Now that we have healthy center backs, look at how far we've come.
I don't think we need to give City any credit.
No, I think that that would not give them credit.
They're just lazy about their tactics.
That would give them way less
just
credit.
literally copy pasted from last game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they kept on attacking our right side, which when I remembered that their backup right back was in because Tinnerholm's done for the season, I think made more sense. He looked quite poor too. I guess he's only 19.
Tavon Gray.
Great opportunity to laugh at how we got 400,000 doll hairs for Chris Gloucester. We're just so set for doll production with all the hairs we have. But like where the fuck is, how bad must that guy be? What a steal. Kevin Deal's in on it again, but
yeah, went from being too good for MLS to being here in just like 2 years. Man, he must have really.
Yeah.
I don't know. He the pixie dust in Brainport Eindhoven was not very good.
I know. Maybe it was more that Gray was not very good than a intentional strategy on their part. But yeah, they kept on attacking, specifically that joint in between Reyes and Duncan, which, I can sort of see the idea because Duncan has more freedom in that wing back role to really get in, and they play a higher line. But you can't say it ever really got close to working, right? I mean,
anytime anything went past that point, Reyes was there, and then beyond that, I think all of our midfielders kind of like really did a good job in stuffing issues. The first half, City barely got over their half.
I was pretty amazed, like looking. Half. It was kind of like if you actually watch the game, which you should actually watch the games. Just a thought. If you want to have opinions about teams, yeah. But anyway, if you actually watch the game, it was kind of deceiving because I was kind of amazed looking at like flow charts and pass charts, stuff like that after the game, and seeing how City really had nothing, because if you actually watched during the game, they had what felt like a few chances, but pretty much all of them were offsides.
That's true. Yeah.
All the big kind of inflection points they had were all just didn't actually count, and gave you an even more deceiving idea of how competitive they might have been on the day.
To the point about their morale too, when they had that one chance before the half where Coronel came up with the really clutch save, I actually thought maybe the whistle had blown or something, or it was offside, because the way that they just don't react at all is very confusing. It was like it was a warm-up drill and he just like scuffed it, or or it was like, the goalkeeper wasn't actually paying attention to you or something, so you don't really care that what happened. It was just having a go. And then I was like, oh wait, no, that was real. They don't care. Like what? Like they're not disappointed, or like
at least Miami tried to jump the ref. Like,
yeah,
these guys just couldn't even be bothered.
These guys seem to give up on the ref.
City had some whining too as well.
No, they didn't give up. I don't think they gave up on the ref.
Yeah, they're pretty whiny still.
Yeah, there were some points.
I will say we were in yellow card trouble more than they were to start, but if anything, that's more of a reversion in the norm, maybe, to typical Red Bull form, and just how we're kind of beating them up a little bit. But I think the team stayed really mature still in keeping control. And it wasn't, I was never really worried that anyone who got a yellow was playing recklessly, and maybe might pick up a second one. So
I just was a little worried because Davis got his a little early, just knowing that he's in central midfield. But
yeah, but he's
not
never
really
a problem,
physical player.
No, and he's like very disciplined about that afterwards.
I forgot. I meant to watch that tackle again because I kind of missed the build up to it when it happened, because then Davis almost seemed to be like, I didn't really mean to go in like that. Like, not to be like our perfect little, bright-eyed angel players or something.
I'm sorry,
but
officer. I didn't realize I couldn't do that.
Exactly.
And do we have to retire that? No, but it's still good. The isolated bit's fine.
Yeah. No, Chip. Yeah, literally just, he did seem just kind of like, I wasn't even like, I don't, he was like, I didn't even really mean to do that. But it was when it did happen, it was like, fuck yeah, I hit them. Like
I don't think
Nelis's card was pretty weak, but then I think the ref was just kind of trying to send a message early.
Yeah.
I don't think he even really intended on holding those guys hard the rest of the game, because Nelis and less so Davis, but Nelis had some hard fouls and stuff, and there was never really a discussion or anything.
And there was no real big call this game either. So
Yeah, no, not really.
yeah, so it didn't really matter.
I would say this game, I think maybe I'm just used to it. I don't know. But I do feel we were pretty in control. And I would say, compared to all the other games where I've been yearning and frustrated and really itching for a second goal, I think we were actually closest to actually getting one here. I mean, that, especially if that Omir chance goes in right before the half. I mean, man, it was also a better hit than I realized too. When on the replay, I was like, oh, for a second I thought it was just sort of squiggling past, but not that it mattered, because he would have beat him anyway.
They had that one chance that hit the crossbar, right? But that was
City.
That was towards the end,
and it was just like a bullshit. Doesn't show up on the XGs,
right? It would have been a wonder strike.
Yeah. We had the chance where Cáceres set up Klimala with a dime.
Oh yeah.
We were finding Klimala in that gap better this match. I think and I think generally we just look finally more fluid and comfortable with each other. Unlike, the first derby game, I think was one of the ones I was complaining that compared to City, who are relatively well rehearsed, if complete strangers, we just look uncomfortable and tentative. We can see a big improvement in just these 6 games. I think Tolkien was one guy in particular. I was frustrated with how many touches he was taking, but him and Duncan were also very decisive. I think this might have been
Tolkien had some techers this game.
I think this might have been the best game I've seen Kyle Duncan play for the Red Bulls.
Yeah, Duncan's gotten so much better, but yeah, Tolkien had that almost sombrero at one point. Yeah,
he scooped it. Yeah, that was sick.
But
Duncan improving has been a huge part of things, because, and I mentioned this on Twitter talking with somebody, where it's just the main issue, it seems like each part of the field there's a coherent idea of what sort of players we want, but there's the links between each stage of player where we're running into problems, and we've kind of mentioned that we really do need kind of a creative midfielder who can kind of control the ball in difficult moments in traffic, and just kind of link each phase of play.
Man, when Kaku comes off injury.
Yeah, exactly.
When Kaku gets back.
Yeah, or we're going to be unstoppable. But in that void, in the meantime, where we don't really have that player, Duncan really has kind of, picked up some of the legwork as far as just carrying the ball up the field, just being a presence on each side of the ball, and, kind of being basically the person who starts and... well, actually, let me rephrase that. I think we do a lot better because, and this goes back to Struber in Europe, that the fullbacks dictate and quarterback a lot of the play in the final third and are expected to make a lot of killer passes and hold the ball a lot. We look a lot better, especially recently, when Duncan is doing that instead of Tolkien and then sometimes Gutman.
Yeah.
Duncan is a lot more able to, kind of carry and dribble, whereas Tolkien and less so Gutman are kind of tentative and end up just kind of hitting a, kind of weak long ball that doesn't create anything.
I will say
Duncan has a lot more dimension when the ball is coming through his
He's grown in confidence with that.
Yeah.
Too.
I will say that I think that Duncan's performance highlighted to me, and it's not enough for kind of like a legitimate grievance here, but I just noticed that because Duncan was playing so well, it felt like a lot of his good play was not rewarded by his partnership with often CCJ on his side, and that a lot of CCJ obviously scored the goal, and I think he otherwise had a pretty decent game, but
it was a very CCJ game where he was, kind of to how you described the first goal earlier, Ben, with the sequence of him just getting knocked down and coming up again. He felt like he was running all around that zone of the field all night and harassing guys. And actually, I forgot he even scored the goal, and he seemed like a positive and helpful force, but also like he was still out of sync a bit. Very weird. And it was also me thinking, like, what's gonna happen with this guy? Is this really like the future of where he's gonna play? I mean, he's still 21, but I still don't see him really playing here long term. By here, I mean that place on the field. I don't know, but maybe he is just more of a attacking player, but he still does not really release the ball at all.
I feel like I've liked that pairing on the side that you mentioned historically. Like, I feel like they played, not historically, like for the earlier part of the season. But yeah, I think you're right that, and even to your point, Brit, like it just seems a little off. I don't know if it was like, he just got off of international duty, right?
Yeah.
And like just got back,
but like at the same time, this is maybe the best integrated I felt CCJ play in our team in a while too.
I don't know if it's form as so much as just like his role and style as a player. Like I don't know. I think
I know what you mean though, Brit, because like if you wrote down on paper like what CCJ is doing, like it's like metaphorical paper here.
It could be literal paper. This one could be literal paper.
No, but like it's not like a stats thing. But like like if you look at his performance overall, you're just like, oh, like. He looks pretty good, but then you like look holistically and you're like, he's just not like, the chemistry is like kind of offers something. Like,
you feel like there might be something more. You feel like you might be able to maximize.
I feel like I'm missing something from him.
Yeah, I don't know. Funny guy, but it's funny. He's big for a attacking midfielder. He's small for defending midfielder. It's funny. It's funny.
I thought Drew Yearwood. I'm gonna keep knocking on Drew's drums because I love how he's been playing the past couple of weeks or past month or so.
Yeah, the Yearwood Davis pairing in midfield has really solidified the last couple matches, I think, compared to the beginning of the Sun-beaten streak where it was a little bit less clear. I think they're pairing together and releasing pressure for each other much more often, and I think that's been really key. I think he seemed in control.
My colleague Ross Haley actually mentioned to me that he notices that Yearwood is being a lot more of a facilitator lately. And Davis is actually the one getting forward a bit more, which kind of speaks to, I think, the kind of a little bit of what I mentioned earlier about the links between the field missing, because it allows Davis to kind of basically do smart things in more parts of the field. And it also simplifies Yearwood's game a little bit. And I feel like Yearwood, in like especially earlier in the season, both with and without the ball, felt like he had to do a little bit too much. He's not a very, despite being like the prototype for that sort of player, being like just like a 5'8" ball of muscle, he's just not a very good tackler. He's not very good at kind of leading a phase of the press or a kind of stage of the press, and sitting behind play where he can both, kind of wait for the other team to come to him, and then when he has the ball, sort of spray it more, as opposed to him thinking that he has to kind of go and create, towards the box where he's, kind of shot for confidence right now. I think that role that he's, kind of settling into more, where he's kind of more restrained, is helping him a lot more in recent weeks.
I agree with you. I think that allowing him to kind of like take a little bit more of a reserved role also, to me, a big part of the game that I haven't looked at the numbers for this, and I feel like it might actually back me up if I did, but I'm not a nerd, so I feel like his interception game has gotten really noticeably better in that position that he's playing, or like he's really getting to apply pressure kind of in between players a lot more.
He's waiting on lanes.
Yeah, he's playing the lanes really well. Exactly. And that, that's really suiting him. And I think he has really good foresight for those types of things, because he's making a lot of good reads, and that kind of intuition is something that I think that he has and is now being utilized really well.
He was a good example of, I think I mentioned this to you during the game, like it felt like the pressing, like when the team decided to press, it was very obvious. especially in the first half. I don't know if you guys saw that as well.
Yeah, Struber had a quote about that, like
Right.
the triggers were all really set for this, and that they're not headless chickens.
Yeah, right. I saw that. But it's comforting to know. It feels like the players are starting to like kind of get it together.
Yeah,
right?
it's funny that Struber made that quote too, because I was literally thinking like, during last week, a few days before the game, I remembered how Jesse Marsh used to use the term dirty running a lot. And that a big part of his preparation for games and game planning was avoiding dirty running, avoiding pressing when you don't need to, avoiding just wasting energy on spaces where you don't need to be. And, Struber's always talking, Struber, he doesn't use the term dirty running, but he's talked a lot all year about pressing distances, and then leading up to this game where he said, I think he said it in response to a question as far as what's been the difference as far as the team seeing out full 90-minute performances as opposed to surrendering leads has been happening earlier in the season. And his precise response was that, we were avoiding wasting our energy on bad runs and bad pressing in this game. So.
I'll bring up a closer to home example from a local club. For ASC GeoGuessr, despite their loss this week, I really felt like the pressing triggers turned on when Sam and I played up top together, because we were really playing off of kind of the spaces that were opening up.
It's all about us.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like really the big thing that happened this week is I think we recognize that if we're pressing high, you just got to play off.
No, that shit didn't work. I would call that dirty running. I was dirty running all over the top.
I was doing tons of dirty running.
The dirtiest fucking running.
I only dirty run. My idol is Gary Lineker, the inventor of dirty running.
The dirtiest run.
Yeah. Struber actually says unclean kinetic locomotion. But I think that did show in the way the team played, and I think it made them more effective going forward a bit. I mean, good Lord, we still need to let loose a pass sometimes. Looking at you, Amir, sorry bud, but I think he had a decent showing ultimately, but again, to repeat, I think a mantra of the last couple of weeks, we love Amir. He's done a great job in this role, but I think it's really more about reintroducing that role to the squad than Omir single-handedly transforming the plan just by inserting himself. And I think that was true tonight or Sunday. And I think Fabio actually was able to contribute, even though his touch was about as loose as ASC GeoGuessr's touch on Sunday. But I think he still was able to do his classic smash and grab, and still be weirdly good at rounding guys, just like fucking knocking the ball past them and beating them.
I was gonna say that Omir is like, you're right, he needs to link up better, I think, in counter attacks. He was very kind of, he tried to keep possession, I think, and dribble into like four guys often, but also surprisingly good at hold up, better at hold up than I thought, though, from Omir as well as from Fabio. I thought both of them were able to keep the ball. I mean, the problem is that we didn't really generate chances because of that, but
because of the hold up, or because of the not letting loose a pass,
slow pace. Yeah.
Sometimes it actually was sort of like they were waiting for Duncan to arrive.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, well, I don't know, maybe you need to give Duncan a little bit of a break, and you guys can figure out something on your own, every once in a while. But Fabio, I would say he played well enough where it didn't feel like we were, down a man until Klimala came on. Like when Klimala came on, I was like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, here we go.
Yeah,
like we're all set. Like, thanks, Fabio, you held down the fort.
But I felt that.
But now we're really all loaded here. And maybe he'd play better if he gets more minutes again. But I don't know. Maybe if they want to go back to if they think the diamond is still an option next year, maybe that's a role Fabio could slot into depending on whatever his salary would be. Because I think you saw a similar kind of skill set that made him so productive at the beginning of the year. It wasn't really very productive in a single striker formation on Sunday, but it was good enough.
Well, I was going to say that for Fabio, I thought that the sub for Klimala felt very much kind of a final indicator that it seems like right now they're definitely playing in each other's spaces, or like
when they're both on the field,
or that they're not going to be both on the field really.
Certainly not in this 5-man midfield, if you want to call it that.
Sure, but like to me, it felt like it was saying that these guys probably aren't going to be
I don't know.
together.
They played together basically in that formation. Klimala corrected me personally to say that he and Fabio were switching, playing as the lone striker in that one game right before Fabio got hurt.
Oh, that's right. They did do that.
So I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I think a lot, even though it's been successful, I think a lot of this 5-6-man midfield, whatever you want to call it, is kind of makeshift. And kind of
it's fluid.
It's just kind of something to just kind of get through the season in the state that the squad is in right now, as opposed to like a grand plan that we're going to stick with forever. I think, like Brit says, I think we might still be going back to the diamond in an ideal world when the squad is tweaked out. But
is this the Struber version of we're going to try the 4-2-2-2 every year until it works?
I hope not, but yeah.
Because, that's kind of like...
Everyone, gather in, get closer, come on, come here. We're going back to the full press. I declare full press.
I declare full press.
No, but that's kind of like what happened with the Jesse tenure. Like, I think he was an ideologue in a little bit of that sense of having that 4-2-2 like formation work eventually, and then he finally got there.
But
in 2018.
Jesse, the couple years he tried, he usually gave up or was forced to give up by injury to Verone by like June. We had more injuries, had more transition than any of the years Jesse had, except for maybe his first one, where he didn't try to do 4-2-2-2.
I mean, we don't know yet. I mean, I'm just issuing a potential parallel.
There was, to just kind of bookend the Fabio discussion, there was a little bit of a rumor that came out today and yesterday, that we have put in a bid for another South American target forward over recent weeks. Guy Sebastian Sosa.
Sosa? Ooh.
Yeah, love Sosa. We love Sosa. But Uruguayan guy who's currently playing in the Argentine First Division. So just kind of something to keep. Maybe we don't ever end up coming close to signing this guy, but just kind of a signal of intent that's out there cycling
so
around.
So hot right now.
That's right.
We did see Monzon warming up.
We did. We saw Diarra play.
I think the thing that's going to scupper this Sosa guy's transfer to us is the fact that he isn't from the Portuguese-speaking region of Uruguay. Also,
wow, no Rio Grande do Sul. That's a shame. But what am I missing with this Sosa? I don't get it. Sosa. What's funny about Sosa?
Chief Keef.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. You guys want to talk about Sammy Sosa? That's the Sosa I remember. Is that his name? Yeah, that was his name.
No, I know, but like Sammy Sosa, I feel like it's a weird character.
Yeah. But yeah, I trying to remember here who Wiki came on for exactly. Did he come on for Omir? Straight up?
I think he came on for Omir.
Wiki ran around for about 10-15 minutes, but then.
But he was also playing a different role than he usually plays, right?
He was. Yeah, it was.
I guess
it was. There was actually a moment about 5 minutes or so after Carmona came on where Struber kind of talked to him and Cáceres and basically told Cáceres to play as the 10 and Carmona to go up and play laterally with Klimala. and be basically a second striker. And it kind of helped in a purely pragmatic sense later in the game when we were just kind of trying to hog the ball in the corner to close it out because Carmona, is a fucking truck and could just kind of take punishment up there for a while. So
I remember CCJ coming over to the sideline to talk to Struber, and they were talking for like a while.
That's what that's yeah.
And then I remember him going up to Wiki, and then they were talking about it. So I mean, I thought, like, honestly, I thought that role like kind of felt better than where Wiki usually plays.
It felt like what we needed, more of what we needed. I mean, it was nice to have a goal already, all right?
Yeah.
If we had needed a goal, I would have been frustrated a bit.
Barlow was not on the bench for this game.
Yeah, that's
kind
right.
of a minor notable thing in that context of chasing, or not even chasing the game, but chasing a second goal.
Was Harper on the bench?
I think so, yeah.
Interesting. The sub was very interesting.
Harper was at the Devils game tonight, too.
Nice.
So,
with Royer?
With full fucking team. I mean, like 10 guys maybe.
I wonder if he got put up on the screen. I do like when, like, I'm assuming the Red Bulls get one,
like sweet.
Like they have some sort of allotment from MSG. Because Davis or something like Muil has got like not our most famous guys often will go and then they'll always get put up on the screen on MSG, and I love that for them. I wonder if Cameron Harper getting up on the screen at the Devils game would be pretty funny. Like I don't know, maybe like 4 people there would be like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, and then I guess Neelis, Mira, and then a very unfortunately posed next to them, Connor Lade, met with the Giants today. So we're doing the grand tour of
the New York Giants.
Yeah, the New York Football Giants.
Oh fuck yes, Alex Cora is gonna get thrown out here. Wow. Sorry, the baseball game has been on this whole time. This is about once again maybe the slowest baseball game of all time. What's new though with this
Holy
series?
shit! Yeah, it's still the 3rd inning. God damn.
They're just fucking taking forever. I don't even know why
it
he's
wasn't just
screaming.
all the Latin American players plus Sean Nealis.
No, although that is a great combo.
I'm just thinking about the quote from Sean Nealis this weekend.
Oh yeah, he knows a little Spanish. Andres knows a little English. So perfect. What was all that screaming about? They didn't even call out the runner on interference. What the fuck was that all about?
He struck out, right?
Oh, he was just arguing balls and strikes?
I think it was like it was
whatever.
the call. I don't know. Fuck. I don't know. Could care less.
I mean, once again, everyone wants to root against the wretched Red Sox, and America's favorite team, the Houston Astros, will eventually prevail. So, anyway, yeah, I think that's everyone who played pretty much. I feel like that's a pretty. Is there anyone?
Maya, did he come in?
No.
We had 3 subs.
Yeah, we had 3 solo subs. It was like an old vintage game. Reminds me of olden times.
Yeah.
Pearson.
Diarra was the last sub that rounded out the 3.
Yeah. Tiara Sans, we were blessed.
Yeah,
He
we
looked
gotta
less
talk about
stiff this
Yuba.
week.
He did look less stiff this week. My mouth is stiff, apparently. I can't fucking say anything. But he moved laterally. He
Kind of juggled the ball on
He
one
bent
play
his
a little
knees
bit.
a little bit, like
he had a couple moments where it was like, his first time playing in a while, and it was like, all right, he didn't pass it, sort
his
of
first
weird.
touch was a little bad,
But what you would expect, I think. A bit odd of a bit odd situation to put him in, but sort of a flex maybe too. I don't know.
Re-signing Yuba might be
I hope
redacted moment.
I hope that's I hope that's the first thing they announce.
Yeah.
Over this off season. If they're like, all right, guys, I know you've been anxious about Tom Edwards,
Fabio, Coronel.
Fabio, Duncan's
Gutman.
Duncan's contract is expiring, but don't worry, we're answering all your concerns. Yuba Diarra is back,
6-year
baby.
contract.
The Diarra Sans lives on. But
This is one of those instances where I'd let them have that hashtag, and as the announcement tweet, we could have it.
Diarra Sans.
Yeah.
What,
better-
you
better-
would bring legal action if it was any other
you
player?
know, bestowing the.
I'd be like, visibly angry if they used a cheap like Pogback.
Yeah, it is better than Pogback,
Yeah.
but
It's way better than Pogback. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh my god.
what isn't? So that does. On the way back, we did get, as Sassaroli put it, bestowed with special train by the path that just went only to it was originally set to go only between Harrison and Exchange Place, bizarrely.
Which was the weirdest version of that line, I think, right?
Yeah, and then the guy must have been on the radio with the dispatcher. He's like, fucking what?
What are you going to do with the train?
Just fucking go through. And we went all the way through. Another blessed occurrence when the Red Bulls get 7 points or more against City.
I got tacos after, too. No
Amazing.
line.
Oh. Wow, everything was really
It was
firing.
a blessed day.
Good day.
It was a nice first fall day, too.
Do we have a celebrity sighting that
I
day?
don't know. I'm trying to rack my brain. I don't think we did, but a lot was going well.
Yeah.
Maybe we did and we didn't realize it. Maybe like if we had walked behind one of the stands at the Oculus, it would have been Richard Kind smiling there and saying, "Please disregard the man behind the curtain." But yeah. Anything else from this derby?
You know, I mean, like we said a couple of weeks ago, that this is kind of all we're looking forward for this season. But
I mean, hey, Gerhard really knocked this one out of the park. I feel like way back in March, one of the things when I thought we might win the league, the Shield still, which is the league, by the way.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, at the very least, Gerhard seems like he'll be up for the derbies. He's gonna, like fucking take it seriously. Hey, seven of
Did
9,
it.
pretty good.
Fucking did it.
Fucking delivered. Fucking threw out a couple of nice disses on the way, but ostensibly respectful disses.
big game manager.
Yeah, and we're now, we didn't beat them by 5, so we didn't leapfrog them. And I'd like the record to reflect, I never doubted this team, never doubted Gerhard Struber, never doubted anyone.
You know what it feels like to me, honestly, at this point in the season?
Live stream, I said, we're gonna win 7 games after this in a row. That's what I said.
Mm-hmm. You know what it feels like at this point of the season? It kind of just feels like we're getting all those games that we kind of should have earlier in the season, or like some of those closer ones are kind of going our way in equal. Like,
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, but also no, we really
we're not getting lucky.
We fully ground out this one and several, maybe I don't know, like maybe the Cincinnati one was a little like more toss up, but like this one's a good example of when we really ground out 1-0 and earned 1-0,
We're learning to love George Graham. We're learning to sing his name despite
but I just mean
misgivings at the beginning.
This period, like the results are finally going our way.
And also the yes, and right before we pressed play or pressed record tonight, I was remarking on how of the teams we play 3 times this year, it's the rival teams, Chicago and Columbus, our opponent this weekend, and how annoying it is that we dropped 6 points against Chicago, who are still below us in the table. And if we had those 6 points, or even just 4, because one was away, we'd be like in fucking 3rd place or something, with that alone. Because we're all bunched up in the table, like we were saying last week. The places didn't change much, but we're equal on points with City, which is very funny. Thank you, Ronny, Deila. Very cool. So love that.
You're talking a lot about a 9th place team right now.
Yeah, baby, I am, because they're the New York Red Bulls. They're my favorite team. I like it when they win, and I like it when they've not lost for 7 matches in a row. And I think the defense, it's pretty good in my opinion. Pretty good defense. It's when you're talking about Duncan earlier and him kind of being the quarterback or point guard, facilitating that part of the field. It's superficially Murillo-esque, I'd have to say. They're different players. Duncan doesn't carry the ball the same way Murillo did, but in the sort of off-balance way that we're approaching the wings, it's sort of similar where, Taxi was always the emergency, quick back and forth, streaky player, and Murillo was more being able to stop and start and facilitate things. We got that going, but then on our center backs right now, fucking as good as ever. Really pretty elite defense here.
We don't even have the guy who Liverpool was trying to sign earlier this year.
No, and I don't think we even need him.
We've ever had, yeah.
We don't even need him. Oh my God, did the Dodgers really tied it? And they won? Oh no. That wasn't, it's the Braves that we had there. Who cares? Right. So, but sorry. Yeah, I actually don't even think we need Aaron Long to come back. I mean, if we have a year to figure out if Monson is going to be a hit at all,
and Drame.
The fact that we got a fourth string guy like Drame, it was like nice backup there. I mean, who knows if Gutman's coming back? Gutman is pretty confirmed as a viable left center back. I mean, if not his best position, period.
Edwards on the other side, same thing.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is speaking basically to your column I can't remember if we talked about it last episode or not.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, is there a market for Aaron Long? If there is, I wouldn't mind it. I mean, we'll look pretty fucking good with Reyes and Nealis going here. Sean Nealis, another guy I never doubted, by the way.
Ever.
Yeah.
No, I mean...
You knew since you saw the tattoo.
Yeah.
I mean, Long is going to be... It's so hard to tell what's going on with Long because, as we know, there was, kind of the gray area with the transfers, both earlier this year and going back, 2, almost 3 years now, where, it's hard to tell, what his, where his head's at right now and how kind of bought in on things he is. I mean, not to doubt his professionalism. I mean, he was great in the earlier part of the year before he went down. But it is something that's kind of coming down the pipe. I mean, I think it was kind of odd when Long first went down earlier in the year, and Struber was kind of talking about it at press conferences where when he would be asked about it, he kind of was going long term, like, because the questions were always kind of like, are you going to bring in a new center back immediately now that you're without Long? And he was kind of like, no, I'm kind of looking for the guy who's coming after Aaron Long.
I mean, I think we were saying we kind of wanted the team to do that back then.
Yeah.
Now I have 2 guys.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, and obviously, Long's going to be 30 next year. I don't think Liverpool or Marseille or any of these teams are going to be coming in for him again. But, Charlotte or St. Louis or any MLS team that's looking for a quality domestic center back.
Toronto might want to throw some money at us.
Right. I mean, Long's going to be kind of pricey, but
Newcastle might buy Aaron Long in exchange for arms.
They
don't. That's the one thing they don't need. They're really covered. Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see for sure. I guess we don't know. Not that that's the Rosetta Stone for what his role in the team is going to be, but I guess we don't necessarily know what the specific terms of Nealis' new contract is, whether he's been given a big raise or not, how much of a commitment we've made to him.
When did this happen again?
He got a new contract at the end of August. Yeah, a little over a month ago. So.
Good for him. He deserves it.
Reyes is obviously going to be kind of a bell cow for a while. So, and then obviously Monzon and Drame are going to be needing room to develop. So it's going to be kind of an interesting off season on that front.
Yeah. I mean, a good problem to have. And I mean, hell, to what you were saying a couple weeks ago, Peaches, that we were saying, maybe we just wanted to win the derbies and get some respect back on the season. But look at it now. It's like, man, if this defense is in this good of a shape, and us basically bunched with the rest of the playoff field, other than New England.
I was saying this last week, Brit. 1-0s win cup tournaments.
I mean, it's still a dangerous way to live a little bit, but hey,
it's happened.
And I think we would deserve it if I think we're looking like a real team. And more importantly, it looks like we're actually growing long term as a team, which is what we want, So I'm feeling pretty good about the situation. But moving towards this weekend, we're playing Columbus away again. Unfortunately, it will be.
But they've been complete butt.
Yeah, I mean, they're
good. They're
below us
to
in the
bounce back a
table
little bit.
still. I mean,
They're right. They collapsed and then they're climbing. Well, I was just looking.
I mean,
at,
we might have jump started their form a bit when they beat us
Yeah.
at their place. But I mean, I know they're 3 points back of us, so they're going to be gunning for us hard.
so they've only lost 1 in 6. They've won 4 out of 6.
Oh.
They're like us.
I guess one is like an out of league game. But
Oh, the Campeones Cup. Is that what it's called?
yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
But yeah, I think they have a midweek game
That's right. They do.
against Nashville. So they're on the road at Nashville tomorrow on Wednesday. And then they're back home to play us. So their form's like okay, but they like are no longer in that like spiral that we apparently got them out of.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already regretting saying this before I've said this, but I was going to say one advantage of playing the way we do is that you don't really have to change strategy, or you don't have to change the way you play. You don't have to really think about coming out of your shell or packing up when your game plan is always just to have tight elite defense. But I mean, when is that ever a case? You always, every time you go out and you try to win the game. So it's kind of a dumb truism, or not truism, but like dumb way of thinking about it. But the observation
Brit,
still
if we
holds.
lose this game, then if we want to get to 49 points, then
Yeah, the observation still holds that the Red Bulls are going to try to do their thing, which right now is making the other team score 0 goals. So, which is going to give us a good shot at a result on the road here. And I think we're still in a good enough spot where I'll take a draw here. I'll take a draw. When's the last time I had a 0-0? Was it against Cincinnati at home?
Yes.
That's also a shame of it, but But
I would take a draw, but I think we're up for a win, honestly.
All right.
Just like a goal in the first half. If Klimala starts.
Yeah,
we're due
Klimala's
for a
due.
cheapie. We're due for a cheapie.
I was going to say Klimala's due for just any kind of goal.
Yeah.
Now, but hopefully he's starting fit again.
I mean, the
But-
team is up for it, obviously, after this like run of form and the hype winning that last Derby game. Like, I think it's still going to be a very close game. Probably another 1-0 game. But
I'll take.
I kind of, I want to get up for it. Like, it's like the first time in a long time that I've like been excited for a Red Bulls crew game. Right. I feel like it's been a very long time since I've like cared about a crew game.
Yeah, my mood about this team is very much shaken on form right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's very
100%.
like I care much more now that we started winning, which is I like to watch this team win and I don't like to watch this team lose. So
That's insane. Are you sure about that?
I don't know. Maybe if we lose, but our XG is.
Yeah, let's keep your eyes on the ball. All right, looks like Zardes has been their man over this streak. Yeah, it's like almost all the goals are him. To be fair, their last win was 4-0 against Miami, so
Been there.
even we scored 4 goals against Miami. How shit must they be? But yeah, so we got a whole week to prepare. As you said, Columbus is going to be on half week preparation, so I don't know. How would you roll out? How do you want to see the team roll out on Saturday away at Columbus at Mortgage Crisis Stadium?
3 in the back is working.
Yeah.
We got to keep that up. Give good opportunities to Duncan and Tolkien to some extent. I wouldn't change the midfield. And I especially wouldn't touch the Davis Yearwood pairing because I think that's really working. I'd be perfectly happy just swapping in Klimala for Fabio. Like everything else was fine. Maybe being a little quicker to sub the attacking midfielders if things aren't working up there. It looks like Omir's been getting subbed around like the 65th to 75th minute every game that he's been on, which works. But yeah, I think the formula is working right now.
I wouldn't
Not
mind
worth
seeing
messing with
Omir
it.
sit for, like, I agree with you entirely, except I wouldn't mind seeing Omir maybe sit for this game.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean that's fine too.
Yeah. Maybe we see that Fabio Klamala pairing that we were talking about with
That'd
one
be
playing under
interesting.
each
I
other.
mean, I
again.
think it would, if he's fit, I would probably want to play him. And if he's fit and he doesn't feel like you'd benefit from a rest, but I do think that really, I would like to see more minutes given to people that kind of play that role other than Omir, despite of how promising Sunday was in general. It was another case where it doesn't feel like there's someone getting reps, real game reps, doing that role. And when we sub someone on like Wiki or even Frankie, sometimes they're doing something slightly different. Then, you know, they're pushing up like we were talking about earlier. So like to have a little bit more security in that position, so we're not relying on Omir being the only guy with real game experience trying to facilitate from there. But yeah, whether that's Fabio or Frankie or whoever. But
I'm going to create a fake email account to convince Caleb Porter that on Thursday and Friday night only it is dollar mojitos at Remy's on Hilton Head.
Ooh.
And he needs to skip training to go get in on that action.
I mean,
So-
who could you blame him?
Yeah.
Caleb, I know you listen to the show.
Who
Don't
doesn't
worry,
love?
it's a real deal. I also heard that at the outlet malls up in upstate. I don't know what's that town.
The Woodbury Commons.
Woodbury Commons. There's an entire truck of half price Sperry's,
Yeah.
and it's all yours. Just go get it.
That's,
Caleb, it's
people-
free.
that's actually true. They actually have that
It's
there.
free Sperry's. It's half price, but yeah, it's half price Sperry's. You have to pay half price, but it's free. Come get it. Come get it. It's yours. It's free Sperry's.
And Vineyard Vine shorts.
Yeah.
You know,
He can't really fit in the Vineyard Vine shorts anymore, but yeah.
They showed him. It was the national team game we were watching last week. Him and Zardes, I think, were sitting
Nagby,
in
I think we're sitting in a suite.
Nagby,
Yeah.
because Zardes is still getting
Zardes
caps, right?
is on the national team. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
oh yeah, Caleb
It's
Porter
the
is
one person I know, the one selection that you know seems. I guess Pulisic makes sense in a way, but you know,
Caleb Porter is a suit manager, isn't he?
is he? Not all the time.
I feel like he's kind of just like collared shirt and track jacket.
You know,
most
I
I
games,
vaguely
yeah.
remember him
I
wearing
didn't like him
suits.
for a while, but I don't know. He's made it sort of hard to have a uniform take about him. Like he's won MLS Cup now in two different cities, so you can't really be like, oh, he sucks.
Yeah.
But and also when he bantered off Guardiola to hell, that was pretty funny. So like
And Perea.
yeah. So fair enough, Caleb, but still don't want to get a drink with you, obviously, and you don't want to get a drink with me, so let's just call it quits. So that covers it for this week, doesn't it? Is there anything else? Any other sightings or events or happenings?
Just be on the lookout for your local indie film actors in Manhattan and Brooklyn.
And the Red Bull's expert guide. Oh, that already actually was published because I just saw that in FootMob. But the Tactical Sips, I guess, is coming out soon. But
What if I see Ben Platt?
yeah. Then that means you are in that M. Night Shyamalan movie, Old. So you're becoming old and you're going to wither away.
Oh man, I've thought about Dear Evan Hansen so much this week.
Wow. Yeah. I actually, whenever I'm having trouble falling asleep, I open up the Wikipedia plot summary on that because I can never, I know what it's not about anymore. And I know it's insane, but I can never remember it. And I try to be like, what the fuck happens in this thing again? And by Act 5, I'm asleep. It works every time. I really recommend it. So
To me, it just like it occupies so much space in my head. It has amenities. Like it just so present.
All
for
right,
me.
before we go into a Dear Evan Hansen sidebar,
Yeah,
let's shut it
I
down.
was letting
Let's go
him go because thought I might come up. I might stitch together some sort of like Cesar Sayoc, a big soccer thing, but it's just not coming. I'll give me a week and I'll think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Cesar Sayoc did end up getting my letter to
I feel like
myself
you guys-
about my self-validation.
We're gonna end because I have to go Ricardo PP right now.
It's Alex!